Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's not every day you get to watch a master at work, but there is no one that does two people talking to each other better than Roger Deakins. And we're going to get to see him in the wild, in his element, in this scene. Is it the best example? Probably not of his work, but it's one that I was immediately drawn to. I saw it. I said, haha, I see you. This is like a lion chasing down a zebra in the wild. You just look at it and you're like, oh, it's meant to be like that. Like, that's exactly how it's supposed to happen. It looks like that. It's natural. Everything's great. Take pictures. That's what we're doing here. That's what you're able to witness when you see somebody like Roger at work in a scene like this. It looks so simple, looks so easy. That's generally a sign that you won't be able to pull it off, right? You're not as good. And when I say you, I mean me as well. I include me in the group that is you, the collective us. We're probably not that good. So it's something to aspire to. And when you see it and you break down the individual elements, I'm sure Roger isn't on set going like, oh, got to shoot into the corner of the room. Got to make sure that everything is aligned perfectly. No, but he's good. That's the difference, right? You can be shitty and have a system, or you can be good and just be good. Problem with being good is you're sort of a unicorn and it takes a long, long time. So I'm looking to fast track that long, long time, trick everybody into thinking I'm good, and then I'll be able to get more work. Ta-da. There you go. Your honesty on YouTube for the day. Okay, let's have a little look at this breakdown. If you like this breakdown, if you want to see the entire thing, best place to do it over on Patreon. This is a small snippet of a much longer video. Goes for about half an hour, I think. That's how they usually go. And I do a new one each and every week for subscribers. Okay, let's go. You want to do a simple scene. This is it. No wides, no nothing. Two people talking, done perfectly. And notice something in this scene, right away. Okay, this is what we're going to be talking about. Two people talking back and forth. I want you to notice the position of the table. This table, actually we'll go full screen here. Don't really need the scopes at the moment. Well, that didn't work because I have the pen activated. I now know why the full screen doesn't work. Just a matter of actually doing it now. Full screen. There we go. Okay, so let's find out the best position. This probably is this angle, the best position. And let's get him looking up and maybe with his eyes open. Can we do that? No, we can't. Okay, let's go back and see if we can't. We don't really need his eyes open. Okay, so the entire scene plays out between this size shot and the size shot we just saw, right? That's really it. It's basically 4 shots. There's a couple pushes and, well, really only pushing in when things get a little bit crazy. But the first thing to notice is the orientation of the table. Do you see how it is different from every other table in the restaurant? It's turned at an angle. Now, what does that angle get you? Well, it changes the background, and it also changes these two people's orientation to the faux window over here, right? Just imagine they're on the same plane as this table over here, right? And imagine they have got more tables over here, right? They're not on the edge, because on the edge, when we flip around to his single, right? Same direction. See how this is weirdly going diagonal into the room. Now, why would that be? Well, maybe it's to create depth. Maybe so that you're not shooting flat onto this wall. Maybe the wall in the background gets to run this way. And then maybe we can shoot into the corner of the room here. Could that be it? And we know if we shoot into the corner of the room that has all the windows on it as our key side, as our upstage side, that is going to make the lighting tremendously more easy. Very, very easy to do here now, because we're going to fake the window from over here. It doesn't even have to be, especially if we're going to only cover it like this without a big wide shot, without like a long lensy wide looking through some people. We're not going to do that. This is really, really simple. Watch the whole thing through now. Still haven't seen that window over here. Over here. Haven't seen it. Nope, I haven't seen. Oop, it's even too fast for me to. Oop, there it is. Just caught it in there, right? And still a little bit wider. There it is over here. Ta-da. And I go again. Still the same. Master primes. Shooting like a 2.8, maybe like a 2.5. Very, very shallow. 35, we're inside the conversation now. Again, we're inside the conversation. No overs here. We're really close to the person. Now you contrast that to last week when we looked at the art of carrying, how that focal length compressed the space. So, and we're a little creep there too. Again, you're at a distance and the person feels like how people feel in real life, right? This is like 32 millimeter, 35 millimeter, and the camera is sitting as far as these people are away. There's no 100 mil, 12 feet back. There's a little push again. See how we still have not cut out wide. We haven't done anything. It's all played in this little repeating creep. right? We just keep on creeping in, keep on creeping in. And I think that's the end of the scene. Back to the close-up. See, okay, so as we're shooting, as we've changed the angle of this table, the orientation of this, right? So now the line is coming out of this guy's forehead and going straight to the other guy's forehead, right? That's the 180-degree line that we're gonna stay on. So we're gonna stay on this side. And we know because we've positioned the table in the right spot. And when I say we, I have nothing to do with it. Roger Deakins has positioned the table in the exact right spot to get maximum benefit out of this location. Because now we can see all these lights in the background. Rather than, I mean, again, imagine if it's these two back here, right? And they're having this conversation. The camera's gonna be over here shooting this way. We're gonna miss all of the depth here, right? We're gonna miss all of these cool little lights in the background. The lighting is going to be, well, technically it would be more sighty, right? But of course you could wrap it around if we're gonna stay in this orientation. So really it's just about the background and the depth that you get. And in a shot like this, it doesn't matter, right? The depth means almost zero here because we're so blobby, right? Because we're so blobby in the background, it doesn't really matter. It only really matters in, I mean, this is really, we're talking real close up, right? And this, even thinking back to when we did Collateral Beauty, right? You remember Collateral Beauty it was maybe like 135 master anamorphic from 15 feet away. That's how you were getting your single, so it's just a flat face right on top of the screen. This, you're still, I mean, we are really close to this guy. This is a big close-up, but there's still so much environment around him. It feels rounder because you're closer on a wider lens, right? So just remember, as you're making focal length choices, this is what you're weighing up, the pros and cons. Do you want to flatten it off? Do you want to isolate him? I mean, here, this is pretty shallow, right? You couldn't really get, you know, you go to 1.3, maybe his ear goes more out of focus, but you're not really gonna blob out the background anymore. This guy, you can barely recognize there's humans back there. Let's keep going to a slightly wider version. I mean, this whole thing, never a wide. The widest is right at the beginning of the scene. Ta-da! Nope, not that one. I was wrong. This one. Again, biggest decision on making this look good. There's no magic sauce. There's no Roger Deakins been doing it for 50 years, so he has to use some crazy lighting technique to make sure it works. This is just the basics. This is the stuff, and this is why it's so good to look at someone who does the basics so well, and all combined, they end up being amazing, right? Because we haven't even talked about the color, the mixing of the colors, the different production design elements that are involved, the framing, you know, just here, where, again, because you have Roger operating on most of his movies, they all look the same because that's the way he wants them to look in the framing. The ideas are the same, right? The same components. It's always great. This is something where you get a little bit of table, you got his arm, I mean, layers, right? You got this that we're looking through, then you've got him, our man, then we're going along here, which opens this up to more and more tables rather than if we were to if we just pivot this whole scene clockwise, right? And we go a normal table direction, well, then we're just looking flat on this wall. You lose the depth that would be from the mirror. You lose this light, right? Because we would go around this way and it would just flatten off the whole background. This way, you get that extra line in the background. Not only do you get one line, right? You get the table. Then you get the other side of the table, right? That's another line. Then you get the chairs, again, another line. And then this little thing that's cutting through his head, there's just lots and lots of interest going across the frame. Again, same with the table, right? Lots and lots of layers. We cut back to his. Again, nice little shape here in the foreground. And we're seeing all of our people. And this guy's head is not layered on top of more people, right? Again, imagine if this is now rotated again clockwise, right? So this part of the table here is rotated that way. So we're shifting it around, just like this table is oriented. Now, if we're on this side of the line still, this guy's head, we lose all of our extras, right? Because his head is gonna be in line with these people because they're gonna have the table in rows, right? That's no good. It doesn't create depth. You don't see this line of booths down over here. You don't see these lights. You just see flat wall, right? And maybe there's something over here, but now, in the background over here, it's so far away that it would just turn to blob, right? So really, really important. The main thing here is not only where are we going to put the table? See how it's not, there's a window over here, supposedly. It's not right against the window. They're not right against the window. This is the easiest spot, especially if you don't have much money. This is the easiest spot to put a table inside, and you're faking like there's a window there, right? You could do this with a very, very small setup, right? Couple apertures. You're able to get this exact look, enough to push through the 8x8 of full grid or of magic cloth that you have over here. something to look after our man here, and then maybe something for the background. But still, I mean, it falls off pretty quickly, right? These levels versus this guy's face, it falls off pretty quickly. And you want to accentuate that even more in the grade. So you've got the squeeze and drop, right? You're lifting and dropping everything else. And that's what's happening here. All the attention. You don't even have to look. Everything is, this is the hottest thing in the image, bar these little specular highlights, which are also a different color. Now, probably nobody does tungsten warmth, or nobody really does warmth better than Roger Deakins. And that's, you know, him, the colorist, everybody. It's just a balancing of keeping, look at how orange this guy's face is versus how not orange his face is, right? It's keeping like a color washed image, really orange, really warm in the background, but then neutral skin tones. It's like, that's what you got to look out for. Oftentimes when you see people going, man, I really want it to be, there's another scene in here somewhere. Where is it? Where it's super warm. No, we'll figure it out. Well, when we get there, we'll figure it out. But it's, you want everything to be orange or warm, but you don't want it all to be one wash, right? It's the same idea in the color contrast as it is in the lighting contrast. You have to make sure what you are highlighting in orange is, or in warmth, is actually making a difference. Okay, so we cut to the singles. Now that is super, super orange, right? And we're pushing in. Again, this is like where, you know, this is the next level of cinematography that you have to know. You really have to know, like the lighting triad that we talk about in the framework. You have to know the lighting triad +1, right? Because that's the room tone back there. But then you are purposefully degrading it, right? It's like the Picasso level of art. You have to be able to do the photorealistic stuff. Then you go to your cubist stuff. Then in the end, you end up squiggling in your underwear, you know, on a piece of glass. And this is not the squiggle in your underwear bit. This is like the cubist bit of like, okay, we know all, he knows all of the rules. Now he has the flexibility to go, well, how do I want it to feel? How do I want people watching this to feel? And that is when you have reached elite level. I'm not worrying like, fuck, is this gonna look like shit? Like, is this not gonna look like a movie? I don't even know. It's like, you know, you're already beyond that. It's like, okay, I know it's going to look good. I know all the little tricks to make it look good. Now, how do I make it look like I want? What are the exact elements here, right? We got this little daylight chase. How do you get this warmth and this darkness without making it, you know, because you don't want this to feel like a Pantene Pro V commercial or something, or a Maybelline, some sort of, you know, where it's perfectly manicured. You know, this is much more manicured. This, something's going on with this guy, right? You don't even have to listen to the audio. There's some shady shit going on with this dude. And you can just tell it right away. Anyway, we're not even at the good scene. And then the actual camera work. Okay, he leans into that, good. This little push, something's happening in the conversation. He gets closer, cut to the other dude. Yep, little tiny creep, shit's going down, and then another creep from the exact same spot. So you just pick up where that creep happens. The problem on doing this on set is you got to have a good dolly grip. You got to be good calling all, because if you fuck it up and you make the actors do it multiple times, you know, you get 1 or 2 fuck ups. Then people are like, maybe we do it digitally. The zoom, you say, fuck, damn it, digitally. Anyway, let's get out of this scene. Oh man, I told you that nobody does it better. I mean, you look back at the filmography of Roger Deakins and you see the conversations that happen to people either at a restaurant or at an office, and there is nobody that does it better. The balance, the contrast, the depth, the framing, it's just, some things are true and you cannot argue those things. So this is one of those. Okay, that is going to do it for this one. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.